Assalamu alaikum. Welcome to our channel Botany with YouTube. Today I am here a PhD scholar. I am going to present a topic Alternation of Generation. Content list, definition, introduction. Alternation of generation depends upon dominant generation. Step of alternation of generation. Generations, Gymnosperm, Ferns, and conclusion. Definition: Alternation of generation is a type of life cycle in which subsequent generation of plant alternate between diploid and haploid organism. You can see here in diagram how two generation alternate with each other. Botany with YouTube is our channel. If you are new in our channel, then please try to subscribe our channel firstly. Alternation of generation you can observe in diagram. Plants alternate between the diploid sporophyte and haploid gametophyte. Between asexual and sexual reproduction. Therefore, the life cycle of plant is known as alternation of generation. The ability of plant to reproduce sexually and asexually help them to adopt different environments. Alternation of generation is common in plants, algae, and fungi. You can see here bryophytes and trichophytes. Alternation of generation depend upon the types of plant. For example, in bryophytes, the dominant generation is haploid, and in tracheophytes, the dominant generation is diploid, and the sporophytic is the main plant body. Dominant generation. The plant life cycle, one of the two generation is dominant over the other. The plant in the dominant generation grow larger and live longer. The plant in the non-dominant generation are small and hardly visible. The dominant generation are seen in the form of ferns, trees, and other plants. The dominant generation in vascular plant is the sporophyte, while in non-vascular plant it is gametophyte. Alternation of generation you can observe in this diagram how two generations alternate with each other. Sporophytic generation produce gametophytic and gametophytic produce sporophytic generation. Botany with YouTube is our channel. Share our channel with your other friends, researchers, and colleagues. Steps of alternation of generation. There are following stages. The diploid sporophyte has a structure called sporangium. The sporangium undergoes meiosis and forms haploid spores. The spore develop into a gametophyte which is haploid in nature. The gametophyte has the reproductive organ which undergo mitosis to form haploid gametes. The gametes fertilize to form a haploid zygote which mature into a mature sporophyte. This cycle keeps repeating. Generations. There are two types of generations, sporophyte generation and gametophyte generation. Two haploid gamete fuse to form a diploid zygote. This results in a sporophyte. The sporophyte is formed by multiple round of mitosis and is a multicellular organism. On reaching maturity, the sporophyte develop reproductive organ known as sporangia. This is one key point in alternation of generation, and if the plant produce spore or sporangia, then it will called sporophyte generation. And in the gametophytic generation, plant body have ability to produce gametes. They may be produce one type of gamete or two type of gamete in only single plant. This is the next generation in the alternation of generation. The spore is newly formed and has half the DNA as the parent organism. This spores undergoes mitosis multiple time to form a gametophyte. The gametophyte generation create gametes. These gametes are produced by gametangia. These gametes are then transferred between plants or spread into the environment. Sporophyte generation. These sporangia are used to create haploid spore, and these spores are released and carried away by air and water. When the conditions are favorable, they develop into a gametophyte. For example, gymnosperm plant you can observe in diagram. Gametophytic generation, when a gamete encounter a gametes of the opposite sex, it fuses with it to form a zygote, which eventually become a sporophyte. For example, in ferns. Botany with YouTube is our channel. Like our channel. If you have any question, you can ask us in comment section. And if you want to share your point of view related to our topic, you can share with us in comment section. Gymnosperm. You can observe in diagram. Gymnosperms are a group of plants that produce seed not enclosed within the ovary or fruit. For example, cycas, pinus, etc. The life cycle of gymnosperm is both haploid and diploid, such as they reproduce through the alternation of generation. They have a sporophyte dominant cycle. The gametophytic phase is relatively short. The reproductive organs are usually cones. You can see here in diagram. Ferns. Any of a division of flowerless spore producing vascular plant having alternating sporophyte and gametophyte generation is called fern. For example, horsetail. Life cycle of fern. Sporangium produce spores. Spores will germinate and produce gametophytic body. Gametophytic body again have ability to produce sporophytic body. The life cycle of fern is very different from the life cycle of many other plants. Ferns have an intermediate stage called a gametophyte, which then grow into a mature fern. Spores are produced on the underside of the mature plant. These will germinate and grow into small heart-shaped plant called gametophyte. The gametophyte produce both sperm and egg cells and will fertilize itself or others. Once the fertilization occurs, the adult fern will begin growing. Conclusion. Alternation of generation is the life cycle of plant and some other organism that alternates between a sexual and asexual phase. The sexual phase of this life cycle is called gametophyte generation, and gametophytes are produced in this phase. The asexual phase is called sporophytic generation, and spores are produced in this phase. In seedless vascular plants such as ferns and horsetails, the sporophyte and gametophyte generation are independent. In seed-producing vascular plants such as angiosperm and gymnosperms, the gametophyte generation is totally dependent upon the sporophytic generation. Thank you. Thanks to visit our channel. Good luck to all of you. Allah Hafiz.